1UZ firing to life with no problem. I mentioned all auto for the windows, which is great. So I just kind of give everything a pull, one touch, and then this thing just isolates you. It truly is a quiet car. Even the air conditioning is quiet. Oh wow, is that the new Corvette? Yeah, looks like it. Pretty cool. I'll be reviewing my Corvette at some point as well. All right, here we go. So we're going to start out in just normal power mode. It's just very quiet, very smooth. This motor, you know, it's just silky goodness. It delivers power, but in such a way that you kind of don't even feel it, unless you're really asking for it. And then, you know, then she'll really give you a shove, which is nice. As far as handling goes, you know, it's a luxury car from the 90s. So, you know, I know a lot of people like to put coilovers on these cars. That's not really my cup of tea. If I had two of these, you know, I would love to have an extra LS400. And then maybe I would do like a performance build on that one, you know, loud exhaust and coilovers and everything. But this car was just so nice and so pleasant that I just didn't want to mess with it. I just wanted to leave it as is. It handles okay. It's not good, you know, to be perfectly honest. It leans. The seats don't hold you very well. It's just not meant for that. You know, this car is meant to just eat up miles. And it really does that beautifully. You know, I've driven this car from LA to almost the border of Oregon. You know, about 700 miles each way. You know, and I've done that, I think I've done that 3 times in this car. Oops, just dropped my audio again. Man. We still rolling? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, the road's a little twisty, and like I said, you know, this car just, although it will do the corners, it's just, you know, and I'm not really exaggerating. This is just not a performance-oriented handler. You know, it's not good for the canyons. The LS430, the next generation of this car, really did a better job of kind of working out the handling. But the thing that they didn't do as well in the 430 is they got rid of the suspension seats, which I think is just a bummer. Even though those seats are super comfy, and I would love to have one of those cars. It's an amazing car. My mom has one. I'll be reviewing that as well. But yeah, you know, that car handles a lot better than this, and it's a bigger car, so it's surprising how that works. But you know, again, this is not an unpleasant car to drive out here on the twisties, but you know, certainly wouldn't be my first choice just to go out and have a good time. Again, it has plenty of power, so that's not the issue. And the car just kind of collides along. It's just amazing. But I don't know if you can see, you know, just how much the camera is kind of being jostled about as I take these corners. And again, I've got, you know, aftermarket struts all the way around, good quality stuff. But, you know, it's just not, it's not a performer in that way. And that's okay. This car was made back when a luxury car was just supposed to be quiet and comfortable. It didn't have to like turn a really good time at the Nürburgring. I hope I pronounced that right. At least I got close. But yeah, this car was just made to do what it does. And you know, hey, it'll do the turns. It's no big deal. But, you know, expect some body roll, expect some lean. Like I said, with some coilovers, maybe it would be awesome. And I know a lot of people are into that, and also a lot of people are into doing like VIP builds on these cars. And hey, knock yourself out if that's what you're into. I just think they did such a nice job with this car. Factory, you know, just leave it alone. But that's just my taste. Each to their own. That's the thing that I love about the car hobby, is that, you know, whatever you're into, there are a bunch of people that are into that, you know, and then there are a bunch of people that are into something completely different than that. So, you know, I try not to discriminate there. You know, hey, if you like minivans that are lowered, hey, cool. For me, I like having ground clearance. So, you know, I like to know that if I take a speed bump, it's going to be fine. You know, I'm not going to drag anything. And that's what's great about this car. You know, it sits pretty tall, and you really don't have to worry about much. You know, steep driveways. Every now and then I'll scrape, but very, very rarely. So you know, it's a really nice, just everyday car that you can drive anywhere and not have a problem. You know, it's old enough, and this is kind of interesting. With this car, it is old enough that, you know, it's kind of becoming a classic, which when I bought it, it was not. I mean, this car got zero attention. It was just kind of like, you know, there's another old Lexus, whatever. But now, like, I'm starting to get compliments on the car whenever I take it out. You know, and from young people, and that's what really surprised me. The young people are really into these cars. So, like, I'm 40, and of course, like, I love these cars. You know, this was like the fanciest thing when I was a junior in high school, you know, to see one of these cars. I never paid attention to these cars because you know, obviously I wasn't looking at buying a boring Lexus. But also, you know, I didn't have $50,000 to spend on a car. I didn't even have $5,000, you know. My first car was like $2,000. You know, and then my second car was like $5,500. So, you know, and you know, I don't like buying super expensive cars. It's just not what I'm into. I like getting a good deal. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So anyway, this car was not getting a whole lot of attention. You know, back when I bought it, nobody cared. But now everyone cares, which is kind of funny. I took it to In-N-Out probably about a month ago, and this kid was coming out of the kitchen. He said, "Oh man, is that an LS400? That's awesome." And I just thought that was cool. You know, I was like, "Hey, thanks." I mean, and the car was covered in bird poop and leaves. And, yeah, as I mentioned, it lives under an oak tree, so, you know, it just gets pooped on constantly. And that's a real testament, you know, to the quality of the paint on this car. They really did a fine job. My mechanic was telling me, and he used to work at a Lexus dealership, and he was trained on the LS400. He told me that, you know, they designed this car, they wanted it to look brand new after 50,000 miles. And, you know, I mean, this car, except for the bumps and bruises and the discolored lenses and stuff, I mean, it really doesn't look that much worse for the wear. You know, it's 2021 as I'm filming this. It was made in '98, and it's got almost 230,000 miles. So, I mean, I think that's cool. You know, another thing recently happened. Kid that lives up the street, I had my mom's car, you know, her LS430 was parked in front of the house, and I let her borrow my car because I was getting her car fixed for her at my mechanic. And you know, to me, the 430 is like a much fancier car. Not that I don't love my 400. I mean, obviously, this car's awesome. But so this kid came and he said, "Hey, what happened to your LS400? I love that car." So, you know, he's like, "Yeah, I love those. I really want to get one." So, you know, these cars are really starting to kind of become cult classics. You know, there's a common misconception. A lot of people think that these cars have like a Toyota Camry V6 and front wheel drive. No, 290 horsepower rear wheel drive V8. You know, that's what I'm talking about. So, you know, this is no Toyota Camry. Let's talk just a little bit about the power. Sorry this video's gone on so long. There's just a lot to talk about. This is a great car. So, as I round the bend here, I think I'll throw her into power mode. There we go. see if I can get a nice, oh, I remember this spot. You know, on this road, it's not so much about the horsepower, but the suspension. And, I mean, I'm glad I have good struts. But, you know, I could use a little more. Again, this car just leans. And boy, oh boy, does it lean. Here we go. As I end up in the passenger seat. It's just hilarious. Trying to find a little spot to give her the beans, but I guess we're just in the twisty spots. Yeah, I should probably turn around. Show you the brakes. You know, she'll haul down pretty quickly. All right, get a nice turnaround. Great turning radius, by the way. Just great. Oops, dropped my audio. Sorry, folks. Keep dropping that. So we're going uphill right now, and I'm just kind of quarter throttle. But as you can see, you know, zero hesitation. I mean, she just pulls so smooth. So when I first got the car, this was great. And my wife was not excited about it at all. The reason why I bought this car for a long time, and you know, I've just always kind of had like a daily driver and a fun car. And I'm a car guy, what can I say? So for a while, let's see, so the fleet that I had for a while, I had a 96 Mustang GT convertible, and that was like my kind of fun car. And it was kind of a piece of junk. I mean, I loved that car. It was a lot of fun, but it needed a lot of work. And I'd had my eye on a Corvette for a long time, and I saved up enough money. I was able to get a 2006. So got my 2006 Corvette. During that time, my daily driver, which I had for about 5 years, I had a 2005 Crown Victoria P71 Police Interceptor. And I just loved that car. It was super fun. It was noisy and rattly, and but very spacious. And you know, it scared the heck out of everybody on the road, which was, you know, a lot of fun, admittedly. So anyway, it got stolen and recovered, and it just wasn't the same after that. You know, plus the gas mileage was horrible, and I just wanted something that was going to be a little more comfortable, a little smoother, a little quieter, but still give me that V8 rear-wheel drive feel, and so that's how I happened upon this. It was when I saw Regular Car Reviews. They reviewed one of these. It was an older one, I think a 96, and he said, you know, there's something funny about this car when you drive it. It feels modern. You know, it looks old, but it doesn't feel old when you drive it, you know, and that kind of sold me on it. And then when I saw Matt Farah, you know, buy one with 850,000 miles or whatever it was, and then get it up to 1 million, I just kind of thought, yeah, that's what I need. You know, that's the kind of reliability, because, you know, the Crown Victoria is one of the most reliable cars you can get. But you know, with this car, it's just really been awesome. You know, once I put a bunch of money into it. So I probably put about four or 5 thou into it, you know, since I bought it. We're low on fuel. I don't want to run out over here. How many miles till empty? Oh, 49. Hey, that's plenty. No problem. Of course, once I floor it, that'll be a different story. But again, you know, this car is just not one that you really floor. You know, you can hurry it along, but why? It just doesn't want to do that. Again, you know, if you want to take the family out, have a nice little drive through the canyon like this, you can totally do that. But that's just not what it's all about. Oh, cool. Here's like a little straight shot. I'm going to slow down, and then... That's not a cop, is it? Probably not. Anyway, here we go. There's full throttle. Really a solid pushback in my seat. And then, you know, she just keeps pulling very steadily. So, you know, it's not crazy fast performance, but you know, it'll keep up with modern traffic, no problem. You know, you can go as fast as you want on the freeway, and it'll do it all day, no problem. And it's just so quiet, you know, even at 80, 90 miles an hour. You know, very quiet, very smooth. Ooh, what are they doing here? A lot of cars. So, we interrupt your Canyon review to get this car out on the freeway. This is where it really lives. This is where the car really excels, in every sense of the word. It has a very planted feel on the road. No problem getting up and passing traffic. You know, you just put down the go pedal and there you have it. But you can hear how quiet it is. I think in this part of Mexico, you know, there's no speed limit, so we're fine. But everyone else is going this speed. There's a Camry coming up on me pretty fast. But as you can see, it's just really, really smooth, really, really comfortable. It just occurred to me how ridiculous it is to do a review of this car on a canyon road when really this is what it's meant to do. You just kind of aim it, you know, and go. It also has, you know, the standard Toyota cruise control. Just kind of set it and forget it. You know, nothing fancy about it. It works. It just works. It's great. So it's a great car to just eat up the miles, you know, on the freeway. If you have a long commute, or if you plan on taking some long trips, you know, this is a great car to do it in. Highly recommend. It's kind of like a Lincoln Town car, you know, in the way that it just isolates you from the outside world, you know, and gives you that nice torquey V8. It's just awesome. Soaks up the bumps, and you get a little extra cushion from those suspension seats. It's just fantastic. So anyway, we'll take you back to the canyons. Again, the braking performance, you know, they could be better. They really could. But, you know, I think the nice thing about having those big brakes is that it just kind of gives you the confidence, you know, when you really need to step on it. And most of the time you don't need to step on it. It's got this really soft brake pedal. Not at all a performance brake pedal. The steering doesn't feel performance. You know, it's not like, I mean, yeah, you can drive it with one finger, but it's not over boosted to the extent that like a car from the 70s and 80s would have been. The steering is tight. I mean, if you look, just the slightest adjustment, you know, will actually move the car. And it's just amazing. I have had to do some bushings. I just can't remember which ones. Oh yeah, definitely the control arm bushings. That seems to be a problem on all of these cars. That was a little expensive. I think that was like $500, $600, $700. I don't know. But that made a huge difference once I replaced those. Cup holder. So I was going to talk about this. You can see how the armrest actually touches the cups. Not a big fan of that. I wish there was a better design. But, you know, if you look on all the corners that we're taking, you know, it's holding the drinks in there pretty well. So, you know, it's fine. In here you've got this. That's nice. Never been smoked in. You can see, you know, and that's what was so compelling about buying this particular car, is just that it was, you know, it was garage kept, one family, and it's just hard to find that. I had the tint done, and that was nice. I had a little divider put on the windshield, and that was also nice. What else? I think I covered just about everything. We might do just a quick 0 to 60 as the road starts to straighten out here. As far as doing like donuts and burnouts and stuff, it'll do it, you know, but I hate to put her through that. It's generally going to smoke one tire and not both. So, you know, nobody really wants to see a one-wheel peeled, in my opinion. So let's see. I think we'll have enough room. And I'm close enough to a gas station in case I run out. Let's see, got 47 miles till empty. And now that we're in Mexico, I can do this. Here we go. Got a little bit of chirp. There's 50, 60, 65, 70. Oh boy. Forgot about that corner there. Don't try this at home, folks. But again, very adequate in the power department. I mean, this car probably needs a tune-up. I don't know. But I've never done spark plugs, and it's probably due for those. But man, I mean, she runs, you know, she's a ripper, you know, as they say. So, you know, it's really got plenty of power. And plenty of passing power. That wasn't floored. Again, I hate to make her do that. She's old, but she'll do it without any complaints, and that's what's amazing about this car. Is you know, if you drove it and I told you it had 29,000 miles, you'd believe it. And you know, I'm just not sure how many cars out there you could do that with. Probably not many. But you know, people like the classic Toyotas. I had never owned one before I got this car, and it just made me immediately a fan. One other thing I was going to talk about, and I'm glad I remembered, just as far as old Toyotas go, if you own one of these, if you buy one of these, and you get it working as well as mine does, you will hate other cars. Like, this car ruins you for other cars, just because it's so smooth, it's so quiet, it's so well built, it's so comfortable. And then you get into another car that's supposed to be, you know, more modern and fancier than this, and it's just disappointing. As a matter of fact, we bought, you know, a Lexus RX 400h, which is a very nice car. Very, very nice. But I was surprised that, you know, like, the quality just wasn't the same as in this car. You know, that car looks more modern and more impressive, and, you know, certainly has some really terrific features. But, you know, I found myself wanting to get back into this car and drive this instead, just because it's so lovely. And, you know, if you just drive anything else, it just won't be as good. You know, my 2006 Corvette, very nice car. And every time I drive that, then I'll get back into this to move, you know, if I have to move this car or whatever. And I'm just amazed at just how much more I like this car once I get into it. It's just one of those cars that you fall in love with, you know, and, you know, at this point, it's like our extra car. So, like, we really, you know, we really didn't need to keep it, but we just couldn't bear to let it go, because it's such a great car. My son loves it. It's his favorite. We call it the Old Man. That's its name. And I gave it a much more elaborate name when we bought the car, but my wife started calling it the Old Man. She said it looked like an old man and smelled like an old man on the inside. so that's what we decided. That's what it's just become. It's the Old Man. And so my son, who's 4, you know, he says, "Oh, Old Man, let's take the Old Man." He just loves this car. So I'm glad we kept it. And, you know, I still enjoy driving it. You know, now that, you know, during the pandemic, most of my freelance music work you know, has been on hold, you know, so I'm not driving a whole lot. So, you know, whenever I need to run and go to the grocery store or whatever, just do a small errand, you know, I kind of favor taking this car. It's just always so nice. Ooh, another new Corvette. That's cool. And a moment ago, I don't know if it showed up on camera, I saw an old like 80s Grand Marquis that was turned into a pickup truck, like an El Camino. So that's pretty neat. I wish I could review that car. That would be awesome. But anyway, folks, that's about all I've got. Sorry the video was so long. I don't know if I'll make it one video or chop it up into 2 or 3, but you know, there you have it. So that concludes my review of the 1998 Lexus LS400. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to, you know, do all the YouTube stuff. You know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks again. Bye.